Hi everyone, this is Snigdha Gupta from Heal Couch, and today we're going to talk about 4 little habits that reduce anxiety. So, the first one, morning leeway. Lots of people experience stress, tension, and anxiety the first thing in the morning. From the moment you wake up and you're rushing to get things done, you're constantly behind schedule. Your brain is moving a million miles per hour. By the time your morning is over, your stress is skyrocketing. You feel anxious and overwhelmed. Your thoughts quickly spiral out of control. Just think about how morning anxiety affects the rest of your day. You're building on a foundation of stress. You may be fighting the same anxiety through the afternoon and the evening. It affects your performance at work. It impacts your actual ability to relax when you get home. It decreases the quality of your sleep, creating more and more anxiety tomorrow. So, how do you feel reduced morning anxiety? How do you cope up with the stress from the moment you wake up? Believe it or not, one simple habit can transform your mood from stress, anxious, and tense to you can start your morning on a high note. You will have time for everything you want to do. You will find space to enjoy healthy routines and you will begin by decreasing your anxiety as well. So, what's a simple habit? Wake up 15 minutes earlier. Normally, you account for the time you take to shower and do the extra time in the morning. You do not account for the time that you take to shower, dress, and rush out of the house. That's about it. You don't even think about the spaces in between. The extra 5 minutes that you spend making a breakfast or eating a breakfast or deciding what clothes to wear for the day. These little activities take up extra time, so you're almost always behind schedule. Your morning becomes rushed, disorganized, and stressful because you're constantly running out of time. But what if you stretch your morning day by 15 minutes? What if you add a little time without changing your routine? Suddenly you are ahead of schedule. So instead of rushing from one thing to next, you can take your own sweet time to spend extra minutes making a good breakfast, enjoying your tea and coffee in front of your window, soak in your day, and you're giving yourself the whole wiggle room that you need, and you keep your anxiety at bay in the morning, which keeps you happier and more productive throughout the day. Number two, listing hypotheticals. For many people, anxiety takes shape as a never ending train of thoughts, a flurry of irrational questions whirling around your brain, all right? Let's say you're getting ready for the big presentation, you practicing your speech, and that's when anxiety takes over. What if I get something wrong? What if they hate my presentation? What if I get fired? What if I can't find another job? Just like that, your anxiety thoughts can spiral out of control, creating irrational situations out of thin air. So, how do you control this downward spiral? How do you stay on top of your anxiety, cutting off these negative situations? Well, it turns out that most effective way to control your anxiety is much easier than you think. The next time you're asking what if, just grab a pen and a sheet of paper and write down questions on your mind and try to be as specific as possible. As you're worried about making mistakes, are you worried about getting fired? The key to this strategy is specificity. You need to get those hypothetical situations out of your head and on the page, write them. When you see your worries written down in front of you, you may discover those situations are impossible or even irrational. Like, for example, making one mistake during presentation is not going to get you fired. Sometimes you need to write down. You need to write down the flaws in you. Write down 3 actionable behaviors that you can use to make your situation easier, less stressful. For example, if you're worried about making a mistake during presentation, these are the 3 actionable behaviors. Number 1, go back and double check your facts. Number 2, ask a friend or a co-worker to look over your work. They might see something different that you don't. Number 3, while you are giving your presentation, talk slowly and carefully. So, you're more likely to make mistakes when you rush. There are few examples of actionable behaviors you can use and that can reduce your anxiety. Now, you may not always need your action plan. You may release when your thoughts are far from realistic, you actually don't need your action plan. You actually challenge what if moments. You can put it down on paper and remind yourself that you are in control, and by testing actionable behaviors and creating an action plan, you can stay on top of your anxiety no matter what happens, what problems comes your way. Number 3, concentrating on anxiety. Sometimes you're anxious about so many things that you lose track of what's bothering you. 3 things in your life amplifies your anxiety, worsens your mood, and picks on a new layer of stress. So, what do you do when you're overwhelmed by millions of problems? This is what most people do. They ignore every single one of them and pretend that their anxiety does not even exist. They try to power through the brain, but the negative thoughts will get to you the longer that you leave them unresolved. Your productivity, your happiness, your well-being, all of that are these is what your passive stress weighs you down, sapping your energy and draining your motivation. Luckily, there's a better way to resolve your problems. Your anxiety, you can pick up one thing you are anxious about and give that one thing 100% of your attention. When you have chosen a problem, you use techniques like list, making understand what's the causing your anxiety and where is it coming from. What do you feel anxious about, or is it rational or irrational problem? When you concentrate on a single problem, you may realize how insignificant your worries actually are. Often we think of various possibilities when our mind is clouded by worries and questions, and with individual problems shining a spotlight on one specific stressor, then we can tackle those problems with ease. Not only are you checking on crazy possibilities and you're checking it off your list, but also reducing your total anxiety. You can overcome your stressors, and you can teach yourself a lesson that empowers you to face even more problems and overcome them with confidence, motivation, and energy. So, even if you are in control with your anxiety, so even if you can't tackle all of your anxiety, this one thing can you make you achieve a healthier state of mind. Number 4, breakaway. Let's say you are having an anxious day. You try to manage your anxiety, but you just cannot manage your mental spiral that is filled with questions, and you can't focus and you can't motivate yourself, and every second pushes you deeper into negativity. So, what do you do then? What is your last line of defense? When all else fails, is one habit that you can use that turns your anxious thoughts upside down. Okay, let's say you are sitting at your desk, whacking your brains over a project. Instead of forcing yourself to keep working, you can try the stand up. Just stand up, leave your responsibilities behind, and break away from your usual routine. Think of this as a habit like a miniature vacation. When you're feeling negative or out of control, you're going to escape your life, your family, your workspace. You're going to leave all your stressors, all your habits and routines behind, and you're going to transport yourself to a totally new place, to a totally new state of mind. Where you go is entirely up to you. Some people find it easier and less stressful to watch a sunset or a scenery or take fresh air. Others find it taking an internal vacation, choosing their anxiety with mindful meditation and quiet moments of thoughts. While there are very various ways and do's and don'ts to spend your miniature vacation, don't use definitely this time to numb your brain and avoid things like watching TV, browsing social media, because they make it very, very difficult for you to relax. Not only do these activities make you difficult to relax, but it empowers you with guilt, shame, and laziness. It is also important to spend your breakaways in solitude, physically and emotionally. This is your time, and you don't spend it worrying about other people. If you escape from your routine, you should be only to focus on yourself. Experiment with different habits and happy places. You may be surprised to find out some activities don't work for you as well as they work for others. For example, meditation might not give you the same relief that walking in the park. With a little trial and error, you may find yourself a mini vacation which works best for you. And whenever you feel overwhelmed and anxious, that away time from the negative thoughts get the best out of you. You can break away. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.